Hi guys, so I'm going to talk to you about an alternative method of attaching your bias to your breeze dress. And so this is not for your armholes. This is for the wrap back and for your neckline as well. So you use the same method for both. So you take your back wrap piece and put it right sides down. Take your double fold bias. So by double fold I simply mean the wider bias. So this would be the 2-inch bias that you've then folded in and then folded in again. So you unfold it, and what you're going to do is you're going to actually sew in this first fold here. So I'll show you what I mean. So you take your back piece and you start at your neckline, and you're attaching your bias right side down, and it's going to be facing the wrong side of your fabric. And yes, that's correct. Don't worry about it. I promise. Okay, so raw edges together, right side of your bias to the wrong side of your fabric. Okay. So we'll start up here, and you're going to sew in that first fold. And what you want to do around the curves is just stop with your needle in and readjust every so often. You don't want to pull, right? Because your bias is cut on the bias, it gives it a lot more stretch than you would have in normal, in your normal cut kind of thing. So if you pull your bias as you're going to stretch the bias, and then if you pull your bodice piece as you're going to stretch that as well, and then you'll have a lot of gaping. So you want to just slowly and very gently readjust as you go. And so just a lot of stopping and starting to readjust, and keep those raw edges lined up. And nearly at the end. Okay, so grab your scissors and just cut off the excess bias. Now what I'm going to do is change over my foot to my blind hem foot, so it gives me, because it just gives me a nice guide as I'm sewing. And whoops. It's all stuck now. Alright, so we're going to top stitch the bias on. So you've basted it on. You're going to take it to your ironing board, and you're going to press that nicely so that it's flat, and then you fold it over to the front. And as you can see, you're going to sew it on from the front. And what you want to do is make sure that your bias covers that basting line of stitch. The best way I find is to glue it down, or you can just freehand it and take it as you go. So pop it under, whoops, and just again really slowly. So even though you've done the first baste, you don't want to stretch your fabric out, so just keep going slowly, readjust around curves. It's kind of, as I said, it's not a race, and if you just slowly readjust as you go, you'll really get a nice clean finish, and you won't get any stretching. And I think in this particular dress, the stretching is a big, if you stretch it, it's not going to sit properly on the chest. Possibly more important at the front than it is at the back. Okay, so you can see that my bias is on nicely at the front, and it's on really neatly at the back as well. So your back and your front look perfect. That's pretty much it. So this is exactly the same method you'll use for the neckline. except the neckline, you will probably stop and start a lot more because there's a much deeper curve that you need to go around, and you definitely don't want to stretch the front of your neckline because then you're going to get a lot of gaping at the front. Alrighty, bye.